Fish are criminally underrated. Aside from when they are being paired with a side of chips, people often forget about these amazing underwater creatures entirely. Take, for example, this book, A Field Guide to the Wildlife of New Zealand. Did you know that New Zealand is home to over 30 endemic species of freshwater fish? Well, not if you read this book. It has a section on everything from mammals to slugs, but conspicuously absent is a section on fish. A single marine fish is mentioned, the mottled tripplefin, but otherwise, it's as if fish are non-existent in this island nation. Now, this really wouldn't be an issue if it were just a book forgetting to include fish. But guess who else forgot about New Zealand's freshwater fish? That's right, the New Zealand government. Some of New Zealand's fish are among the most endangered in the world, yet only one species of native freshwater fish has full protection under the country's law: the New Zealand grayling, which has not been seen since the 1920s. Luckily, the government did have the foresight to legally protect it in 1951. Other native freshwater fish get a thin veneer of protection. You can't kill them unless you plan to research or eat them. But aren't those really the main reasons someone might want to kill a fish? Now, this isn't just a New Zealand problem. Many places in the United States impose little to no fishing limits on their non-game native fish, and freshwater fish as a whole are facing insanely high extinction rates, while their oceanic counterparts fare little better. Recently, I visited a place emblematic of how freshwater fish are faring worldwide. Ramblings about New Zealand fish aside, I visited Clear Lake, California. I was planning on doing some underwater filming, but upon my arrival I found that calling this lake clear is like calling Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro a staunch environmentalist. There were signs warning of an algal bloom, and this is probably a constant threat here due to agricultural runoff. I was able to film some fish, although they weren't doing too well. Lakes, much like islands, are geographically separated places where unique species can evolve in isolation. This was the case with the Clear Lake Splittail, an endemic species. The Clear Lake Splittail's ancestors became separated from their close relatives who live in the Sacramento River some time ago. During this time, they became well adapted to life in the Clear Lake region, and were found in quite large schools throughout the lake. You may have noticed that I'm referring to the Clear Lake Splittail in the past tense, and indeed, it was not a fish I expected to see when visiting the lake, because tragically it went extinct sometime in the 1970s. The reasons for its demise have a lot to do with the current state of the lake. Water degradation from agricultural and industrial pollutants, as well as diversions of rivers and streams flowing into the lake, which the Clear Lake Splittail used for spawning, drove the initial decline of the fish. What finished them off was probably the introduction of other species of fish, which both competed with and predated on it. These combined factors were too much for the species, and in the early 1970s it disappeared from the lake completely. In life, the Clear Lake Splittail, like many other minnow-type fish, was found forming large schools in the shallows of Clear Lake. Unfortunately, the Clear Lake Splittail was not recognized as a separate species from the Sacramento Splittail while it was extant. It wasn't until 1973, after it was very likely extinct, that it was given the scientific name Pogonychthys ciscoides. Despite this tragedy, Clear Lake is lucky to still have a few unique fish in its waters, including the Clear Lake hitch, an endemic subspecies. Lake Lanao in the Philippines has lost 15 of its endemic fish species, with the remaining 2 in the critically endangered or possibly extinct category. Such extinctions are very common these days as our freshwater ecosystems become more under threat from human activity. Lakes and rivers need protection if we want all of these wonderful and diverse species to survive. Anyways, thanks for watching this video about the Clear Lake Splittail. I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot about this tragically extinct species.